Here we are again on our third day here at Prescott, Michigan for a partial day. We've been doing this job in steps. The owner has been doing a lot of work after I come through, and he's cleaned up everything pretty nice. Today I'm gonna probably be removing a few more trees, just a cleanup from the stuff that I've already done. The owner's already marked several trees to be removed. This one here, and this one, and then as we go around the backside, there's a bunch of chipper piles, so it looks like the owner's rented a chipper and has processed some of the stuff that he just wanted me to mow over instead of completely mulching. So I've been here for about a total of 8 hours so far. A lot of it was mulching and a lot of it was with using the Grapple. It's a 1 acre parcel. Could have done it a lot quicker, but the owner was adamant about doing it in stages, so that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. Here's some more chipper piles, but as you can see, this is pretty much all cleared out. There's a few trees marked here and there. Before I left last video, I knocked over this big dead oak here. It was it's a big oak, and it was dead for a long time, so it pushed right over. There's several piles of logs that I stacked last time. Not quite sure what the owner's going to do with them, but as you can see, the property looks really good. Here's a few more small piles of logs. I'm assuming he's going to want me to get the Grapple on and stack all this stuff for him. And then mulch these few trees that he has. I think he wanted me only here for 3 hours, which is my minimum for a day. Okay, just talked to the owner. He doesn't want any of the trees removed, so we might do a little mulching on just some stick debris that's left, but right now I'm going to switch out my attachments, and we're going to start off with the stump bucket. It's got a couple of big stumps. Let's see if I can get them out. I think there's only one of the stumps that I probably won't be able to get. The rest I think I'll be able to get. I was at a job yesterday where I dug up a lot of trees and dropped a lot of trees. Unfortunately, I couldn't record there. The owner did not want me to record on his property, so I obviously respected that. I really wanted to record though, because it was pretty cool, man. There was a lot of trees, and I moved a lot of big material and with the Grapple and the stump bucket, and it would have been great footage, but unfortunately, you know, like I said, the owner did not want his property filmed, or he didn't want anything done, so that happens. I was a little disappointed, but you know, it's really not about me, it's about the job. And he didn't hire me to be a film guy. So yeah, we got the stump bucket on here, and we're gonna lock it in and go dig up some stumps. see. Hopefully we can get it all cleaned up. All right, here's the first stump. They marked it with yellow or orange actually. So we'll see if we can pop these up. I don't know how long these stumps have been here. Oh yeah, this one came up real easy. They're pretty degraded, so I know I like to use that word a lot, degraded. I really don't know any other words that would describe decomposed wood. Maybe somebody can comment that in the video. I don't like using the same words over and over, but you know, limited vocabulary, I guess. I don't know. The owner's helping me out. He's a really nice guy. Really enjoyed working with him. He, you know, he likes to participate and be out here. Some of you commented on on my first video about him being out here while I'm mulching. It's not ideal. I would rather not have to do that, but you know, I was being careful and. I was being careful and all that, so you know, it's never the best idea to do that while somebody's out here, but yeah, you guys are right that commented that, you know, oh, I wouldn't do that with somebody out there. Normally I wouldn't either, but as you can see, I got the grapple on now. Dug up a few stumps. I had to keep the window open. The owner was talking and stuff, so couldn't film. But we're gonna just remove whatever stumps we just did, and then now we're gonna do the grapple. So. I'll be able to get this stuff. as you guys can see, this job doesn't always entail just mulching. There's other aspects. If you invest in multiple attachments, like I have, you know, the Harley Rake, stump bucket, grapple, stuff like that, you can perform a wide variety of different tasks. If I hadn't bought all that extra stuff, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this work here. At least not the amount of work that he needed done. So, you know, it's nice to have the options. Not everyone can afford all these attachments. I bought them at the same time I bought the tractor, so it all worked out. But yeah, these attachments are really expensive. And if you do buy a grapple and you have a forestry business, make sure you get a heavy-duty grapple. There are cheaper grapples out there, and they're cheaper for a reason. You want it to be heavy duty with dual shocks, or dual shocks, with dual pistons, and some of them are rigid, one where it's all one piece on the top like mine, and other ones are, there's one tooth on top for each piston, so you have like a variable grabbing radius on there. Those are nice too. I got this one because it was the heaviest duty one that Kubota made, and that's what I was after. I wasn't after a specific type of grapple. I just wanted one that was really heavy duty, and I'm glad I did. As you can see on the bottom of the tines here, some of them are bent. Those are from rocks, digging rocks up. It's kind of hard to judge the how much force you're using when you're prying rocks out of the ground, and you know, some of those tines bent, which it's really no big deal. I could bend it back if I wanted to, but they're really not hurting anything being bent like that. Actually, I found it to be kind of an advantage. Oh, I've been just given the gauntlet. These stumps are really deteriorated, or my favorite word, degraded. So they basically just plucked right out of the ground. You don't always get that lucky. But these are really old stumps. They're still pretty solid. I wouldn't have been able to mulch them, but all the smaller grabbing roots are gone. So basically it was just a heavy piece of wood half buried in the ground, so it came up pretty easy. One thing that I noticed earlier, I'm gonna have to investigate it. When I was using the stump bucket, I was pretty disappointed that I couldn't get a few stumps out of the ground, and then I noticed later that I had my machine in rabbit mode, which is like high gear. So I wonder if that's why I didn't have the power to pluck them out of the ground. I'll have to check that out later. Stumps are a little bit out of its league, I think, for these bigger ones at least. And I'm not gonna try to risk it just to get one stupid stump out of the ground. So probably be the last part of this series. I'm calling it a series now. Unless the owner changes his mind later and wants me to chop down more of these trees, I really don't see any other work for me here. I'm pretty much done just about everything I could without tearing up this whole forest. So here we go. Got all the little stuff done, I guess, and now we're gonna mulch. So just gotta get to it here and see if we can get this done. Still have about an hour left on this time, so. Stump, ran in a big stump, so. video, but mainly what I'm doing here is going back to some of the saplings that I've cut down and just trying to eat down the little stumps further down into the ground. Some of the maple trees, when you go to cut them, they splinter, and they don't really cut real nice and flush the ground with a mulcher. But sometimes you can come back and hit them again. That's basically what I'm doing now. I'm just cleaning up some scattered branches and trying to find little stumps and stuff that I missed. It's one of the advantages, I guess, of having a carbide, is that you can get into the ground a lot better. But you know, I don't think, as far as the carbides go, I don't think they would do good with what I do with this machine either. So that's why I stick to the knife. FECON that I have, one of the reasons why it doesn't get stuff on the ground as good as you would think is because it has little guides around every cutter, and basically those keep you from digging the knife edges too deep into the wood and stalling out the motor, and that also prevents you from going too deep into the ground as well. So I ended up a lot of times when I have small logs of stuff that I'm trying to mulch, I end up pushing them into the ground and then I can't get them, and that's just part of the thing, you know. If I had an open face mulcher with carbides on there, then there's no limits really. You can dig as deep as the machine will let you with them. But you know, now that I have these knife edges, and it doesn't do that. So I get what I can. Of wood here that's pretty much petrified, and you can tell because it feels like you're hitting a rock instead of wood, and a lot of times that pine will do that. If it gets hit by lightning, it'll just solidify the wood, and it will be like it's basically as hard as concrete. And so that's another thing too, you gotta account for trying to mulch stuff. You gotta be cognizant of that, because it'd be just like hitting concrete really, and you want to avoid that kind of stuff. wanted me to take down all the trees with the orange marks, but he changed his mind when I got here, and so that's kind of what's going on here. You know, he's kind of changing his ideas and stuff as I'm here, so that's great. I want nothing more than to give him exactly what he wants. Like I said, I enjoy working with this gentleman. He's a really nice guy and hard worker, that's for sure. I found that quite a bit here in Michigan. You know, being from California, there's a whole bunch of different types of personalities and people and all that, but here in Michigan it's pretty constant, where people are just really nice and easygoing, and you know, you find those people everywhere, but here in Michigan I seem to run into more and more people like that, and that's great. It's a big difference from what I'm used to. Try to get my head in the ground as much as I've been here, but there's literally no rocks here, so other than the dirt dolling my head out, there's really no harm to my knife edges, especially with just an hour or so of being in the dirt like this. It's definitely not designed to do that. I mean, I've seen people online use their mulchers like a tiller almost, where they just plow through the ground and flatten it and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I guess if you had different heads on it, it would be okay, but I mean, even then I wouldn't even do it. Just really not designed for that. The head rotates really fast, and you know, with a tiller it doesn't. So if you hit something immovable with the tiller, it's not going to cause any damage. But with this head here, hitting something and abruptly stopping it could damage it. So you really have to be careful in the ground. loader's gonna walk around the other side, and I'm gonna go back this side just to double check, you know. Mainly I'm looking for stumps that I missed. Found a few, not very many, but I'm sure there's a lot more than I think there is. But you know, jobs like these are pretty tough. Usually when you're mulching, you know, it's pretty straightforward. You know, clear everything that's within a certain size limit, you know, 6 inch, everything under 6 inches and under, you just mulch. And this job was pretty different. It was fun to do it. You know, just a little different than the normal thing, and those are fun to do. My biggest thing is I just want him happy when I leave, you know. And if him, you know, walking around helping me and guiding me and stuff makes him happy, then more than happy to do it. So, kind of see the difference here. When I first started, on the very first job, all of this was completely full of saplings and, you know, small brush piles and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, over the 3 times that I've been here, it's all, we've done a lot of work. It's just that this one time here, you know, he basically needed me to move a bunch of larger material for him and all that, so, you know, I was more than happy to oblige that. But that's about it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. This part's going to be kind of boring. This is going to be me going through here and just nitpicking all the little stuff. Got about 20 minutes left on his time here, so